start with Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield's a really interesting topic for me right now because the more I think about him, the more I'm not concerned, but I'm tempering expectations on what I think Buddy Hield will do this season. Now, I've spoken about in the past how I don't want Buddy Hield to be this 15 to 20 point per game scorer for the Warriors because I actually think that would be a bad thing. I think that would mean that other guys haven't stood up necessarily in a way that we would like. And so my question for Buddy Hield entering training camp preseason is, can the defense hold up to be more than a bit part player? So I'm not concerned about the shooting. Like, we've got nearly a decade, right, of Buddy Hield being one of the best shooters in the league, always shooting 40% from 3-point range. Like, that's going to continue, right? And I think that's why a lot of people have reasonable expectations for Buddy because they see the departure of Klay Thompson, see the Warriors bring in Buddy Hield and think, okay, well, that's just the natural, even though he might not necessarily be starting, that's just the natural replacement for Klay in terms of just the sheer 3-point shooting volume. But the defense is a concern. The overall fit in terms of like Warrior system, read and react, ball movement, that's a bit of a concern for me. Last season was like a career worst year, like in terms of, I think, points per game, minutes per game, stuff like that was all at was at the worst level it's been for quite some time in terms of, I think going back to his second season was like the worst before last season, and obviously got traded from the Pacers to the 76ers, and we probably shouldn't underestimate how much of an impact that can have as well, getting moved mid-season. He did show in that final game of the playoffs, he had 20 points, 6 of 9 3-point shooting, I think, in that final playoff game against the Knicks in the first round series. But we also shouldn't forget that he played less than 30 total minutes across the first 5 games, and that Philly had a few injury issues, and that was why he kind of got that opportunity in game 6 to a degree. So I'm just tempering expectations myself a little bit on Buddy Hield. And I do think that because there are other guys that, in that position at the 2-3 spot who could go ahead of him. Like, I think Melton's going to be better for the Warriors than Buddy Hield, presuming he's fit and healthy. I think ideally Moses would certainly go past Buddy Hield as not quite a good 3-point shooter, but a far better defender and a far better overall well-rounded player. GP2 is still going to be in the mix. Like, we have to remember as well that, yes, we're always talking about the Warriors and their need for more offense and need for more shooting, and that's why Buddy Hield will have some kind of opportunity this season. But the Warriors also finished 9th in offense last season and 15th in defense. So technically it's actually their defense that needs to be improved. And the Warriors were still a better team last season with GP2 on the floor. And so he's another player that it's like, if Steve's going to be choosing between offense and defense, we'll have Buddy Hield out there or Gary Payton II out there. Maybe you'd be surprised at how much he might go to GP2 instead of Hield. I don't know. There's just so many options in his position that I'm tempering expectations a little bit, and very interested to see if the defense can hold up to a point where he is like a 18 to 25 minute player rather than a 12 to 15 minute player. And I think most people would have him in that 18 to 25 minute category. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more so 12 to 15, really. So very interested in that.